Alright guys, Mr. Meow here with another Spellbreak Gauntlet. Today we're going to be working on Wind. So Wind is called Tempest. I prefer to call it Wind just because it's easier for me. I want to cover in this video trying to get started on the Wind Gauntlet for people because it is a very hard gauntlet to grasp. It's one of the hardest ones to learn. It has the highest skill curve in my opinion. But before we get started here, I also want to cover my giveaway. So I wanted to inform everyone I do run giveaways in my stream. I stream daily, 5 days a week, and I have started doing in-stream giveaways just to kind of give back to the people that come and hang out a lot. I do appreciate the amount of support I've been getting. My YouTube channel is getting way more views than I thought. Really, really grateful for all the subs. So I do try to give back. I do giveaways as often as I can. So if you haven't already, go check me out at twitch.tv/MrMeowNandez. So here we are. We're doing Tempest. Now, if you want to get into Tempest, I will kind of let you know it's hard to combo with Ice just because it doesn't have a lot of combos, but a big part of this gauntlet is the heavy attack is a big tornado, which traps people or slows them down, and if you have your first buff as Tempest, you can actually use that tornado to bounce yourself up in the air and launch yourself up, and your light attack is like these fast little light balls that come out, and if you are Tempest class, then you can use them to launch you in the air. They're really good for mobility. You have almost extreme mobility with this class if you know how to correctly use everything. I don't like using Wind Gauntlet unless I'm Wind class. This is one of the gauntlets that I personally don't like to use unless I'm playing Tempest class. I don't like the Wind Tornado without having the bounce ability. Yes, it's good to be able to slow people down, but it's also kind of annoying because it can interrupt your teammates with what they're doing. It can kind of disrupt your team composition if you aren't using it for mobility's sake. I don't really like using it unless I'm using it as my class gauntlet. But again, if you are using it without your class gauntlet, it is still good to still trap everyone and slow them down, kind of disrupt poison bombs, and the light attack is kind of decent for finishing people. If you can get them low, that attack isn't a good opener. It doesn't do that much damage, but if you can manage to get them low, those wind flurries, they really can finish somebody fast. And also, as I was saying about the combos, the heavy attack actually combos with a lot of the other gauntlet attacks. If you're using Conduit, you can throw a lightning bolt at it, and it just becomes like a little electric storm, stunning everybody that is in it. And Fire, you can throw a fireball at the tornado, it becomes like a firestorm, and it actually does a lot of damage. So very good combo if you are interested in running fire with wind. And poison, also same thing. If you throw poison into that tornado, it just becomes this damaging tornado of doom. So when you're building talents for this class, I find that this class has a lot of options depending on how you want to build it. And when you're getting into Mind Scroll, I think you have three viable options. First, being the best is just Harmony. Harmony is just good. You don't get disrupted by annoying things. You're trying to be mobile, so you don't want anybody immobilizing you. You don't want to get shocked or anything like that, frozen. So first for me is Harmony, definitely. Focus mana is good if you're trying to be really aggressive. I definitely put that as, a second option. Very usable if you're trying to just put your foot on the pedal, do as much damage as possible, stay in the air, fly around, hit people, do a lot of damage with your first shot. And then third being Runic Fluency. I find it good, not great, but storing that could be really good if you're running dash or you're just trying to get a lot of mobility going. It is kind of good for it, or if you want to do Featherfall and just stay in the air and whatever gauntlets you decide to combo. I think those are your three options in terms of Mind Scroll. So when it comes to Body Scroll, I kind of find Dexterity just the hands down best. Just keeps you in the air longer, and that's what you want with this class. And Scavenging, I would put it as a close second because Scavenging is just good if you're trying to be aggressive. Kind of gives you just a reward for getting kills. If you're not a person that finds yourself getting a lot of kills, then I definitely would just stick to Dexterity, keeping you in the air. Fervor is also kind of okay, but those are your only three options I really see. For Spirit Scroll, I only see one real option here. I don't think there's anything other than Thirsty that I would personally like running, though I will note Recklessness could be a close second if you really wanted to commit to being overly aggressive. But for me, I think Thirsty is the only thing you can run in their third slot here. And that's, again, all three of these talent trees kind of have a lot of flexibility, so I would kind of play around with all these different options and find what you like the most. So next we're going to get into the rune options. Now, this one's very funny because there's a lot of options. Almost everything works with this class, just depending on how you want to run it. But in my opinion, you got to determine whether or not you want to have an aggressive build, if you want to have just a super agile mobility build, or if you want just, an escape option all the time. If you want the aggressive build, I would definitely go with Featherfall. They just get above everything, get away from all the toxicologists and stone shapers that are on the ground. But if you want mobility in a fight, dash is probably the best. I mean, spring step is pretty good. I would put second place being shadow step. Shadow step's really good, and I think those three kind of are your best mobility options. I really like shadow step a lot. It's very elusive and very tricky, but dash is just your most mobility if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck in terms of being able to move around in a fight. If you really want to escape with your rune, then I would just kind of stick with flight or teleport until you're more comfortable using this class. I always, when I'm learning a new class, try and stick to flight or teleport until I'm comfortable using the gauntlet, and then I try to switch to something aggressive or more mobile. But some people like to always have their escape options. Flight and teleport are definitely your best escape options. So keep in mind when you're learning this class, there's just a lot of things that you got to pick up, how to move around, how to get everything down, when to attack and when to try and just maneuver yourself. I think that's always the hardest thing for people to get used to, because some of the other classes, like I think Conduit and Stone Shaper are very straightforward in terms of attacking, offensive, and then some of the other ones are more defensive, Toxicologist, more defensive. This one's more of a balance of both. You got to know when to attack, when to, keep evading, keep moving, dash, dash, dash. All right, attack, throw myself up in the air with my tornado. So there's just a lot to learn with this class, and I would just kind of play around with it, try and find all the different things that you like, different gauntlet combos, the rune combos, and different mine combos. I personally like running it with Conduit, and I run my Mind Scroll as Harmony, my Body Scroll as Scavenging, and my Spirit Scroll as Thirsty. And I either will use Featherfall or Shadow Step, just depending on whichever I find first. But you gotta find your own build for it, guys. I would play around with it. This one's a very, very flexible class, so you just got to get a lot of experience with it. Hard to get used to, I will say. So if you have some early games that aren't going your way, I wouldn't shy away from it unless you really know it's not your playstyle. I would give it a chance. And that's about going to cover it for Tempest. I will be working on another video. I haven't decided which one to do. If you want to see something, put in the comment section or go into my channel. Let me know what you want to see. I'm down for anything. I'm very open and would love to just kind of get people's feedback. I will see everyone later. And again, if you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It supports me a lot, and I do appreciate all the support I've been getting from everybody on my YouTube channel lately. I love you guys to death. I'll see everyone later.